Hey Taurus, this is your reading for the month of June 2021. The way I like to do this is I start with a vision first, and then I go to tarot cards and oracle cards as guided from there. This is a general reading, so just take what resonates, leave the rest. And this is for, like I said, Taurus. So if your sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Mars, or Venus is in the sign of Taurus, this could apply for you. Generally, it's sun, moon, rising is the most prominent ones, but some of the others as well. Or if you have like a stellium and have multiple planets in the sign of Taurus, then this could also pertain to you. So yeah, so I will get started with the way the vision was for you, what I got during my meditation time, was that it's almost like climbing a rope. It literally felt like a rope, like in class, like from like, you know, being in school or something. So like it's like a memory from that. So some of it might be like, I don't know if there's a connection with that, with, you know, maybe going into old patterns or old mentalities or trying to grow while still being in an old one. That might not be for everybody. But climbing a rope, and climbing the rope, it's like there's almost like thorns on the rope that stick out like spikes. But then there's some that stick out enough or are different shape or something where you can use it to help you yourself like pull up. So it's like sometimes you're using spikes to pull up with, and sometimes you think you can do that, but you end up stabbing yourself and hurting yourself. So it's like this like back and forth. So yeah, so let's just get started with the decks. I'll go ahead and put the decks listed, or I'll list the decks used in the description below. So this is the Beautiful Creatures Tarot though. Spirit Guide Universe, what message do you have for Taurus for the month of June? Especially in regards to the vision so far. What do they need to hear? Is what we're going at. And I don't do reversals, but so far none are being reversed. Okay, so 8 of Cups. Sorry, I go too high sometimes. 8 of Cups. 5 of Swords. The Emperor card. And 8 of Swords. And I actually honestly don't really use this deck much. I just had a feeling to use this with you guys. So bear with me. Some of the meanings on it too, like I'm like, some gel with me and some I'm like, I'm not sure. So generally, I mean, and they even have their meanings with it, but 8 of Cups isn't just a quest. 8 of Cups is also like, knowing, basically moving on, like deciding, okay, it's time to move on, going back. I mean, for you guys, it might be a quest situation though. So let's see what the rest of the reading is saying. 5 of cords, 5 of Swords. It is a card about defeat generally, but I also like to see it as like literally like kind of putting in everything, even to the point of like not breaking bridges, but like even if it's like a losing battle, just like, okay, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fight this. And it's almost like an obsessive energy. Mental obsessive. Emperor card, sovereignty, but also Emperor is really, you know, structure and rules, and sometimes very oppressive, and it depends on, let's see. And then 8 of Swords, this one says imprisonment, and it is, it's like, usually it's like a mental imprisonment, like it's like a, you're in your own thoughts, but really you're not actually in a place that you would be imprisoned. It's just you feel like it's like you're so in your own head that you can't realize you're not opening your eyes to see that you can get out of it. Or at least, you know, that's how it tends to be with that. So intuitively though, let me see with this deck. Yeah, that's weird. It's funny how she's like looking at her, and it's like, okay, so, you know, Five of Swords is the, okay, yeah, is the, like I said, it's a mental energy. I'm gonna losing battle, you know, put what you have, whatever, defeat. But because she's looking at her and she's like all blue, and she's got a paintbrush here and she's got the roses here, I just heard like in my head, you know, like the isn't it Rolling Stones? Yeah. Yeah, I want to paint it black. Yeah, the painted black song. Paint It Black. I don't remember what that song is actually called right now. Sometimes when I'm in the moment, like I'm not pulling as much technical details. That's not tarot related. But yeah, so Paint It Black, Rolling Stones, Paint It Black. I don't know, whatever. But I just heard like, I want to paint it red instead, because that's what she's doing. So it feels like, honestly, that feels like it's a jealousy thing here. So some of you guys might be going through something where it's like, I feel like this is actually the same person though. So I feel like part of you is like jealous of one point of view of like wanting to move on from something and get a quest in that, like not quest, but go on your quest, continue on your quest, you know, like the rope, continue on, you know, go to a higher level. And then the other part's like, yeah, no, you need to look exactly the way I want this to look. Like this all needs to be uniform. And it's really funny too, because it's like the rope had thorns, literally. So it's like, and there's like all these roses here. So it's like, it's a mixed message. It's like, some of you guys might really be dealing with a situation where you're acting like you're back in school and you're like going up this rope, and your mentality in other areas in your life, you might be literally like in a child mentality, not child like young child, but child like as in like you're a dependent, whether you're actually dependent or more so like, I feel like it's like not taking all, not the choices, but the options available to you, in the sense of, oh, well, this isn't given to me. It's like, just because it's out there, if it's not put in front of you as like, okay, now it's time for this class, it's like some of you might not be taking it. That's the energy I'm feeling as the child part. Some of you that may not fit, but I just feel some of you do have that. And it's this whole idea, like almost like a jealousy, really, like, why do you have to move on? Why do we have to move on? Why do we have to do this? Why can't we stay in this area? It's almost like wanting to stay in this child place. Especially because, like, I know this isn't like the Alice in Wonderland deck. I have that. But, like, her dress kind of, I mean, of course, the roses, too. It makes me think of, like, Alice in Wonderland. So it's like a child, like, stuck in a child mentality, stuck in past child, dream world, child, you know, all this stuff. And it's not because it was so great, but it's because for some of you, maybe, you know, it wasn't so great. But but regardless, it's a place where you didn't have to make choices, necessarily. And they just came to you, what you needed to do. So it's like, you're kind of like, part of you is wanting to move forward and move on, but then another part of you is like kind of sabotaging yourself. You've been sabotaging yourself and being like, no, but it needs to be this way again. It needs to be like this. This is what I want. And this is a part of you that like doesn't really want that responsibility to make decisions and to go forward. So it really feels like there's a lot of self-sabotage here. Let me see if this is, you know what? I feel like, okay, then there's another element where, I'm trying to think, is this, some of you, this is two different people. You're dealing, like, it's a different person. But some of you, this is like, you're taking this energy and you're going here with it. So let's go with that first. Taking this energy and moving forward, right? When you take this energy and you move forward, and not really moving forward, because like I said, you're sabotaging yourself, then you have this vision to be this emperor, you know? It's either you're to be this emperor, or you've got overly bossy energy and overly this. So it's like either completely like, I know this isn't necessarily that, but that's what I feel in this card. This completely like open and let's just go forward and let me move on. And I really feel like everything's going to be okay. Even though this is dark colors, the butterflies, everything, I feel like that kind of energy. But then you feel like it's like, because you have this element in you, it's like the other option to this is this. It's like a complete extreme of, okay, I need to take over. I need to do this. I need to be a boss. Like, I feel like it's making me think of the cat and the lap and I forget who's his name, the bad guy in Inspector Gadget. That's like, you know, I need to be a boss. Like, so it's like, so you feel like the only way to not be this is to be this. And it's not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's just, you feel like the other option is this when you're confronted with this part of yourself. And so then you've been left with, when you're actually in your mind mentality, because this is the mentality that affects this emotional placement and where you are and wanting to move on, that desire. And then this is the mentality that affects, or that everything comes to after, you know, you come to here, or like, you know what I mean? And it's this like back and forth, this Eight of Swords of feeling imprisoned, like literally like, okay. She's like, I mean, it's like a terrarium thing or whatever, like a bulb terrarium or whatever. I don't know. But it's got like a triceratops in it. And it's just like, I just feel like she's like looking like, can we go here? Like, I don't know. But it feels like an imprisonment in the sense of your desire and what you want and what you're seeking while having this energy in you is like a not prehistoric, like old. I mean, some of it is like an old thing. Like it's like a old mentality. It's a past mentality. It's something that's no longer, it's not its place. And you're like holding on to it like, oh, I want this. I want things to be back like they were before. But for some of you, it's not about so much just the old mentality. It's just this like wonderland, like, let me go back here. And like, but it feels like an imprisonment because you're fixated mentally on that so much that it's like, you don't feel like there's a good world outside of that little thing that's in your bubble. And that's literally because of this like what's happening when it tries to paint it red, like everything shades to a different color, goes to like, it's actually funny because it's like, I mean, this isn't exact same, but they're kind of, these three are kind of similar. And it's funny, this one looks nothing like you. So it's like you go into this person that looks nothing like you, that isn't really you. But what it is when red gets put on blue, it becomes purple. Like, I mean, I know these are flowers and these are butterflies, but still, when red goes on blue, it becomes purple. So it's literally like, this is how it tinges you. Like it changes you. And then to where you're suddenly like this helpless little, thinking you're imprisoned and you're stuck in this place that there's no movement and you're stuck because you're just holding on to this. And that's how it's all going. So that's why like when you go into the emperor mode, it's like, well, this isn't who I am. But then like the reason why like that is also fueling this of like that kind of like, I want to say obsession, because emperor's not about obsession, but that kind of like, I'm going to have it, I'm going to do what I want. And you know, that kind of like boss mentality, but you're literally trying to take it to like going to something that's not for you anymore. So it's like, you're literally like, I don't know how to explain it. Just making yourself stuck in that. And it is a back and forth because 1 minute it feels like it's the thing to push you to the next level. Cause I mean, this isn't necessarily good because it's not you, but push you to that next level of what you feel like is a power place of like, okay, I found one that's not a thorn. But then in another moment, you're like stuck in yourself and like you find a thorn and like you come back to this. And it's like just this back and forth, back and forth. Wow, I really feel like just pulling the first card. Okay, I'll put it aside in case that's what's supposed to happen. But yeah, so I hope that's resonating for you guys. Is there anything else and there might be an element of anger, not just like jealousy, but like anger, like, why do I have to move on? Why do I have to be the one to move on? Why doesn't it work for me? Like everyone else can stay in this situation and be okay and have everything fine. But like, why do I have to move on? Like, why can't this just work? Like, it feels like there's really just this element of like, you've liked where you've been. Some of you, there's a group of you that you've liked where you've been, and you're bitter that you have to move on. And it's not that you're actually bitter. Like, you might not notice it. Like I said, it might be a shadow element that you're not even conscious of, but that's what's been sabotaging you, is that element. And some of you, it might be an attitude that you developed, an attitude or viewpoint or a mentality that this is the only good place as a child. So it's literally like, you might have felt like to be in this place where you just were, even if you weren't a child, that you're moving away from. I forget what I was about to say. To be in the place that you're moving away from, yeah, it like reconnected you to some of the parts that you might have liked or felt safe in your childhood. And that's not for everyone. You know, some people might not have had the best childhoods, but regardless, you created for yourself a safe zone. So that's kind of like it seems like you're like holding on to that safe zone, thinking that like there's nothing else. Yeah, okay. Spirit Guide Universe, what message do you have for Taurus for the month of June? What does Taurus need to hear? Wait. Wow, I was really going to start doing that? Okay, I was going to shuffle again, but that was weird. We have that there, so we'll see. And that's the other thing, too, is this has like a little hangy thing, and it's like it's meant to hang up and display. I feel like, yeah, some of you guys, there might be something in your past, something good, something you're holding on to, a dream you have that's meant to be displayed, to be shown as this is a part of who I am, or this is where I came from, or this is something I like, but you're like holding on to it, and it's like you won't even let it go up to be put up. Like, part of it's also, I feel like if you let go of that, that's you letting go of the idea that you have to have that to be happy, right? Forget that this is just dinosaurs, like whatever it is, your dream, right? If you let go of it, that's you letting go of the idea that in order to be happy, you have to have that. Okay? So then if you let go of it and you hang it up and you put it on the ceiling somewhere, not on the ceiling, but you know what I mean. You put it somewhere towards decoration. And I'm saying all this symbolically. That's like you telling the universe that you trust. This is what you want in your little language right now. Like, this is what you understand is good. And the universe is like, okay, cool. Well, you let go of it enough and you're still saying you want that. So I'm going to raise your vibration. I'm going to raise you up. I'm going to grow you up. I'm going to help you go up on that rope, whatever, so that you can start seeing that, one, that's not what you need to make you happy. But two, I'll give you even better than that, to where you'll look at this and think, what was I thinking? You know, so it's like one of those things where it's literally like you're holding on to something in your hands, clutching it tight, when it's something that is okay might still be okay to be part of you, of like your ideals or your ideas or your aspirations, but you have to trust enough to let it go. So, but yeah, so I hope that is resonating for you guys. Oh my gosh, it's like floating. Wow, these cards are just like, okay. So, return to joy. We are here to experience joy. But it's like, it's a path. It's a path you're already on. So it's not this like, oh, you know, like going in this bitter place, or this like, oh, well, it needs to go back to how I know. It's like, yeah, okay, that's what it is. It's like, you're not supposed to chase the actual thing that brought the joy. You're supposed to chase that feeling of joy. So you're in a different state right now. You're in a different place right now. You let go of this and you grow yourself to a place to where you find out what in you responds with joy, how you respond with joy, to what. But it doesn't have to look like the past, because that's a past phase, a past season. Let me see. Let me put this. Maybe this will help too. It's funny how this is like a lot of the same colors as, so it's like return to joy. And it's like, feels like that's what she's like wanting to do. She thinks that's what that is. And it's like this past thing, return again, is what she's trying to do. Let me see. What's this say? Find wine, but it's like wine like this. Oh, here, let me show you return to joy too. Find wine, but it's like wine spelled like wine. Like sad wine. Wow. Whoa, this card is crazy. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, find wine. Longing is the portal to wholeness. Exactly. If you let go long enough to be able to long for it, instead of holding on because you're like not letting go, like it'll bring you to the, I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's the same place. It just looks different in this place. But then once you allow yourself, you let go and you allow, then this all changes to that. Oh, that's so cool. I love how that happens whenever like God shows like different things like that, and like showed me to open, or was this the one? Yeah. Put this one first and then. Yeah, because trying to paint the town red or paint her red just changes her to this. And it's like, that's not even who you are. And this isn't even, like, you don't need to try to focus on trying to make everything look like it did in the past. Even if things, you know, you were painting things red in the past, or you liked that in the past, or a part of you likes that. You know, you're in a different season. So I hope that resonated for you guys. Let me know either way what did and what didn't. Look at that. That's like, it's almost like an MC Escher painting, but like fine wine. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, let me know what resonated and what didn't. And you know, comment, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Also share this. Like, if you think people will, you know people that need to hear this message, you know, feel free to share it. Even if you don't know, like if you just have a feeling, you know, share it. You know, it helps get my channel out. So if you love this channel and you want to share that, like, go for it. That would be amazing. And if you haven't already like, commented, subscribe, I suggest you do, especially the subscribing, because then that also lets me know, or no, that grows the channel. If you comment, that lets me know what you want to see next. Sorry, my brain's getting jumbled up right now. So I will see you next time though. Thanks.